So, I decided to dust off the old scholarly literature of my bookshelf and ran into this old gem, the Mega Man Robot Master Field Guide. While certainly not as in-depth as its successor, the Mega Man X Maverick Hunter Field Guide, it's still a fun read that seemingly combines information from manuals, data cards, and general observations from the games. While I do not own the updated edition of this book, to my knowledge, all I'm missing are the 8 Robot Masters from Mega Man 11, who each thankfully have their own biographies accessible from the game itself, so I don't believe I am missing much. Why do I mention this splendipitous work of fiction? Well, I got to thinking as I was reading through the entries about how stupid the numbering system is for all these Robot Masters. It seems pretty straightforward from the index, but if only it were so misleading and deceitful in practice. The book addresses the insanity by saying that some Robot Masters with the designated DWN, or Dr. Wily number, may or may not actually be Wily's creations, but instead those he just pre-programmed for his own purposes. That still doesn't excuse the blatant act of stealing and plagiarism Dr. Wily is doing though, so I'm about to call him out on his real crimes by finding out which Robot Masters are actually his own, and which ones he just removed their creator's name from. The beginning of the Robot Master Index is with Dr. Light's creations, DLN 000 through 008. Blues, Rock, Roll, Cutman, Gutsman, Iceman, Bombman, Fireman, and Electman, and possibly DLN 00A and 00B, Time Man and Oilman. As these are Dr. Light's creations, they are safely marked under the DLN classification even after Wily reprograms them for evil. The Archie comics tell the story of both Dr. Light and Dr. Wily working on the first set of Robot Masters together, excluding Rock and Roll, but there are no implications of this within the video game series. So, Dr. Light more than likely has full custody over these Robot Masters in the games. Therefore, it is odd to see Wily make his own set of self-made Robot Masters continue where Light's left off. Despite being classified as the DWN series rather than DLN, from Metal Man to Woodman, the numbers go up from 9 to 16. I suppose you could say that he might have had intentions to make Light's original set of Robot Masters under the DWN numbering scheme, but remember, he willingly chose not to reprogram Rock and Roll due to their perceived uselessness. So while he may have technically had blues within his possession, he still would have been missing either Rock or Roll to fill in that gap between 001 and 002. Unless he intended to use Time Man and Oil Man to fill in their places, which then would solve our issue. But wait, Powered Up isn't canon, or is it? Ah! The context behind the next set of Robot Master creations involves the team-up between Dr. Light and Dr. Wily, despite their previous feuds, which complicates things again. While it is not known what their designations were prior to the time Wily reprogrammed them for evil again, they continued the DWN designation from 017 to 024, from Needleman to Shadowman. Shadowman is an interesting case, however, as he was not created by either Dr. Light or Dr. Wily. He was discovered during an excavation by Wily, who then refitted him to be a ninja-like robot, although his original purpose is unknown. So whether to call the 7 out of 8 of these creations actually Wily's, that's up to you to decide. Sparkman carries the same no-hand syndrome like Crashman, showing that Wily may have had a particular touch on his design over Light, except even Light makes those mistakes sometimes. None of the Robot Masters in Mega Man 4 are Wily's though. He used Dr. Cossack's daughter Kalinka as blackmail so that he could reprogram 8 of Cossack's Robot Masters for his own use against Mega Man. These would be retroactively listed under DWN 025 to 032, but shouldn't these technically be a DCN? Like a Dr. Cossack number? And why don't they start at 001? Unless if you mean to tell me that Dr. Cossack created 24 other Robot Masters prior to this set that have yet to be seen. Whatever. It's not worth dwelling on this point anymore, as it'll only get worse from here. Trust me. Nevertheless, that's a definite 8 Robot Masters off the list for Wily. Conversely, all Robot Masters in Mega Man 5 were created by Dr. Wily in full part. Of note, Chargeman was created on a severe budget, while Crystal Man was created for the sake of making money through counterfeit crystals for further production of Wily's forces. Gyro Man was even created to bring home entrance fees from visitors to the Sky Gardens. Whether he was formally employed or just posing as an employee is yet to be determined. So, he must have been broke during the events of Mega Man 4. Every Robot Master he created from this line received productive jobs after having their emo programming removed though, surprisingly. Wave Man monitors a water quality facility and despises pollution. Gravity Man and Star Man are experts in their fields of physics and space, and Napalm Man opened his own weapons museum that nobody attended. Poor guy. 5 out of 11 titles so far, and what are we sitting at for Wily's Robot Masters currently? Only 16 definite creations of his? Actually, that's better than what I was thinking. Maybe this guy did more than what I was giving him credit for. But, as you know, we haven't even made it through half of the series yet, oh no! Mega Man 6 is yet another case of Wily stealing other people's creations. One from Canada, Greece, Iran, the UK, Brazil, the land of the genocide, the other land of the genocide, and Japan. Despite all of these Robot Masters coming from different corners of the globe, likely with their own identifying numbers, Wily somehow gets to take credit for them all, listing them under DWN 041 to 048. But, like I said, we're past complaining about this point. Wily was jailed after the events of this game and unleashed another set of Robot Masters along with Bass to free him of his holdings a few months down the road. And excluding Bass, how many Robot Masters from Mega Man 7 are actually Wily's? Freeze Man is a prototype Robot Master created for the sake of testing non-polluting energy sources. Unknown of origin, but likely not Wily's since he had an intended good purpose prior to his modifications. Burst Man and Cloud Man were both stolen from their respective positions of a security guard and a weather control unit before being converted for combat, so that's 2 more that are not his. Junkman was the only one left of the 4 Robot Masters to free Wily from prison, and he was actually created by him. Similarly to Charge Man though, it appears that he was also created on a severe budget. Who would be supplying him the money to build this shit anyways? Of the latter 4 Mega Man 7 Robot Masters, Shade Man is the only one to have been stolen by Wily, which probably explains Bass's weakness to his weapon in some way, but he was originally a haunted house attraction before his conversion. Spring Man and Turbo Man, much like Junk Man, are also budget-made Robot Masters, with Spring Man being comprised of about 2,000 springs, and Turbo Man being comprised of old card parts. Slash Man had the most effort put into him, being modeled after the star droid Pluto, and speaking of the star droids from Mega Man World 5, they can be omitted from this list as they were all created by aliens long ago, and Wily never even modified them for combat as they were likely already combat ready after being activated. Anyways, we can at least add 4 in the list in favor of Wily now. Mega Man 8 includes another set of mixed-matched Robot Masters. Sword Man, Frost Man, and Grenade Man are the only creations of Wily's though. And even then, Sword Man was created for the purpose of using an ancient artifact that Wily stole from a museum, and Frost Man was created using some of Clown Man's upgrade parts. Grenade Man is about the most original Robot Master here, but from the sounds of it, dude is totally unhinged. Well, there's at least 3 more to add to the list though. Mega Man 9 somehow continues with the 65th Robot Master in this line, but created by Dr. Light? They are all listed under the DLN name, but carry on from 65 to 72. So what? Are you telling me that now Mega Man has 66 new siblings we haven't even seen yet? Ugh! I said I wouldn't be talking about this point anymore. Either way, Wily didn't create any of these guys, or gals in this case, so they can be omitted. Same goes for Mega Man 10 as well. He merely spread a virus around that made a set of 8 specific Robot Masters go mad. Then, that leaves us with the most current title in the series, Mega Man 11. And none of them are his, to no one's surprise. At least this time, we get to see the names of their manufacturers. Still doesn't change the fact that they're under the Dr. Wily number scheme. So, this means that out of the entire catalog of 88 DLN and DWN Robot Masters, Dr. Wily only created a total of 23 himself? This dude had the gall to put his name on so many creations that weren't even his. I cannot freaking believe this. I can excuse numerous counts of human endangerment. I can excuse kidnapping and blackmailing. I can excuse laying the groundwork for a centuries-long war between robots and humans. But I draw the line at plagiarism. Go to hell, Albert. Well, maybe I'm not giving him enough credit. Those were just the mainline number titles, which, as you know, just so happened to use the DLN and DWN number schemes. The Mega Man World series of games gave us the Mega Man Killers, Anchor, Punk, and Ballad, which were all 100% created by Wily. In the Wily Wars, Wily created a similar line of 3 Robot Masters, Buster Rod G, Megawater S, and Hyperstorm H. And while Quint from World 2 is just Mega Man with a new coat of paint and a pogo stick, Rockman Shadow, you know, the guy from the internationally acclaimed Rockman and Forte Mirai Kara no Chozensha, was a prototype Quint created by Wily along with his future self, more than likely only using the original Mega Man design as a base. However, Shadow was never given a serial code though, similar to Quint, who is seemingly cataloged as DLN-001 because it's Mega Man under the hood. So it's up to you to decide if he should be counted as a Robot Master of Wily's or if he's a Robot Master at all. We can, at the very least, add 6 to that total though. Base is the one and only SWN, or Special Wily Number Robot Master, so I'd be stupid to not add him, especially after making a 10-minute video about him. And then King, while humanoid in design, doesn't have a numerical code attached to him, just like Rockman Shadow, so it's up to you to decide his placement. And all of King's Robot Masters were either stolen or persuaded by him, with the exception of Ground Man, Burner Man, and Magic Man, who were created by him. So if you want to count creations of a Wily creation, you have at least 3 or 4 you can add to the list if you'd like. Fake Man also exists, but he doesn't have a code attached to him either. Plus, it's not really clear whether or not he was originally a real robot police officer. I'm going to assume that it was a stolen RoboCop, especially when the Light family complied to Dr. Light's arrest in the first place. I mean, they must have been under the impression that it was a real cop, but that's just my hypothesis. He's probably stolen. Later down the road, Wily would make DWN Infinity, also known as the sexiest character ever designed, Zero. And the very last debatable Robot Master that I can think of is Rothor, the new Wily number 1, whose design and original programming was made by Wily in full part, only later altered by Ra Moon. So, including Base, Zero, and Rothor, that's another 2 to 3 to add in his favor. You know, I'll give him the win for Rothor, because that's all there is! 32! 32 freaking Robot Masters? Out of a total of, you know, I'm not even gonna add this up, you already know how bad it'll be. Are you kidding me? You are better at stealing them than you are making them! What kind of scientist are you? And you weren't even the one to make Pirate Man! So, yeah, the numbering system in the Mega Man series is pretty freaking whack. I advise you to stay away from this series at all costs, because look what it's done to people like me. Thank you for watching.